Now, let's discuss what the Supreme Court did and didn't do. The Supreme Court, all they did was said there's no right to an abortion in the Constitution, which then pushed this issue down to the states. Now, look, I get it. If you're a woman, it stinks that most of these legislatures are men. Most of these decisions are made by men. I wish it were other than that. I wish, as a man, I didn't have to make this decision. I wish women could make this decision.
This is John Curtis, thinking he gets it, while having the audacity to patronize women, saying he's on their side and faking concern. Oh, shucks. Too late. I wish I didn't have to do this. When he's an incumbent congressman in the U.S. government who could help codify Roe into law. He also refused to take women's sexual assault claims against his police chief seriously by reporting nothing to cops because it was inconvenient. After a rape accusation came up, he grew a pair, but a small pair, because his response to the rape accusation said, "One of the things I'm learning is what women expect is more than checking the boxes legally. They need a lot of emotional support and understanding." Most tone deaf. And he's one of many 2022 GOP anti-choice wackadoodles who aren't listening to women or taking their agency seriously. Let me introduce you to a few in the election 2022 yearbook. The most likely to imprison women for abortion? Doug Mastriano. If you don't already know him, Mastriano is a Trump-backed freak running for Pennsylvania governor, and he stands behind a 6-week, no exceptions abortion ban.
My body, my choice is a logical fallacy.
My body, my choice is ridiculous nonsense.
Would that woman who decided to have an abortion, which would be considered an illegal abortion, be charged with murder?
Okay, let's go back to the basic question there. Is that a human being? Is that a little boy or girl? If it is, it deserves equal protection under the law.
So you're saying yes?
Yes, I am.
He also forgot that his people really liked co-opting that so-called logical fallacy of my body, my choice over the past 2 years because they thought masks were more harmful than COVID. Most optimistic about pregnancy after rape, J.D. Vance, Ohio State Senate candidate. He believes we can't deny life just because the mother got inconveniently pregnant through rape.
It's not whether a woman should be forced to bring a child to term, it's whether a child should be allowed to live, even though the circumstances of that child's birth are somehow inconvenient or a problem to the society. The question really to me is about the baby. We want women to have opportunities, we want women to have choices, but above all, we want women and young boys in the womb to have the right to life.
But rape doesn't happen in a vacuum and then it's all over after that. He's telling a woman that she has to be pregnant for 9 months, creating a byproduct of the likely most traumatizing moment in her life. And she just has to deal with the PTSD, self-blame, distrust in relationships, suicidal thoughts, possible drug use. And once that baby pops out, it looks less leftist if she keeps the kid and starts a nuclear family. Most likely not forgiven by God because he's most hypocritical.
Scott Desjardins. Desjardins is a physician and has been very quiet over the past week since the Supreme Court eliminated a woman's right to privacy over her health care. As the Daily Beast recalls, Desjardins is the Republican official whose ex-wife had 2 abortions, and he demanded his mistress to have an abortion as well. Yet he maintains he's 100% pro-life.
You think he'd want to, as right-wing Christians never do, be forthright about his past and how he's redeemed himself in the eyes of God and his peers. But the tape recording of his conversation with his mistress/patient doesn't paint him in the best light. Here's an excerpt. "This is not fair to me. I don't want you in my life," the woman says. "Well, I didn't want to be in your life either, but you lied to me about something that caused us to be in this situation. And that's not my fault, that's yours," the doctor responds. "Well, it's your fault for sleeping with your patient," the woman fires back. Least likely to drive a woman to Illinois for a procedure, Ron Johnson, Wisconsin incumbent senator and supporter of accountability for thee, but not for me. He said earlier this year that though he doesn't expect a 19th century Wisconsin law banning abortions, except to save the mother will go into effect if Roe is reversed, pregnant people can always go to neighboring Illinois if they want to obtain the medical procedure. In the spirit of his lazy morality, he also waited 3 years to acknowledge a Wisconsin lawmaker sexually assaulted one of his aides. All these rich Republicans will still have abortion access despite the state or federal bans, because the rules change when you can pay top dollar. To the GOP, who's to say that a child born out of a government-forced childbirth will have a healthy life with lots of government support when all you care about is getting them out of the womb? Why do women's rights have to be measured biologically and men's don't? Do you ever think beyond your stupid impulses? I wish our electoral process had a more sophisticated science to it. You know, if the candidates are legitimate sexist a-holes, the process just has a way of shutting them down.